Welcome to the sofa. I'm Sherry.
I'm Bonnie, and this is the Sisters Hallmark Sip and Chat podcast.
We're a couple of crownheads who love all things Hallmark.
Welcome back, everyone. We're at the week 7 mark of Hallmark's countdown to Christmas. In this episode, we will be sipping Pomegranate Cosmo. You can find the recipe on our website, sistersipandchat.ca. Feel free to pause so you can make your own. This episode, we'll be chatting about this week's 5 movies entitled My Southern Family Christmas, Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas, A Fabled Holiday, Long Lost Christmas, and Holiday Undercover.
Movie number 1, My Southern Family Christmas, starring J.C. Elliott as Campbell, Ryan Rotman as Jackson, Mariah Kelly as Jennifer, and Bruce Campbell as Everett. Campbell, a traveling journalist, is sent to Louisiana on assignment to cover the Père Noël Christmas celebration, which happens to star her estranged father. Okay, let's find out how this movie rates on our SOFA rating system. But first, a quick explanation. Our custom SOFA rating system includes a list of 20 Hallmark tropes, broken down into 10 categories that will determine how Hallmark is this movie. You can download the list from our website, sistersipandchat.ca. This movie earned 15 out of 20 SOFAs. The breakdown categories are town holiday celebrations, location, family and friends, affairs of the heart, big life changes, and the bonus charitable event, volunteering as Père Noël and as a local counselor.
This was such a special movie, and I truly enjoyed it and got very teary-eyed at the end. And, it's all about, there's 2 sides of the story. She and her father are estranged. And of course, there's reasons for that especially for the child are often out of their control. But I did appreciate this twist on a complicated family situation. And I like to hear that we got to hear about his past and where he came from on that side and how he kept his daughter always in his heart. That was really sweet.
Yes, his love for his daughter came through so strongly. And for her, it must have been so special to hear how much she was loved, even though she didn't have that time of connection with him, but to hear it, I thought that was really sweet. Most people won't have that opportunity to hear such a thing.
Exactly. I think that was well done in this movie for sure. I also love, of course, how cool it is to learn about all these new Christmas traditions I've never heard of. Definitely, this one was neat, completely different than anything I'd seen before.
Okay, crocodiles pulling the sled. That sounded very scary to me, but it was interesting to hear about that new tradition. I agree. I do agree.
Very made a lot of sense for New Orleans and Louisiana and all that kind of area that has the bayou and everything. Very cool. And brought me back to memories of our trip to Disney World when we stayed in Port Orleans Resort. And yes, the beignets were delicious. And I can attest that the powder does get all over your face.
Absolutely.
Movie number 2. Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas, starring Holland Roden as Elizabeth, Tyler Hines as Josh, and Tennille Townes as the singer. Just before Christmas, Elizabeth receives a voicemail mistakenly left by a man looking for his long-lost love. She and her former best friend Josh search Seattle to find the message's true recipient. Now let's find out how this movie rated on the SOFA rating system. And it received 19 out of 20 SOFAs. Very good score. And the breakdown of categories is town holiday celebrations, location, family and friends, unexpected hiccups, affairs of the heart, big life changes, Christmas magic, and the charitable event was helping a stranger at Christmas time.
Well, something before we talk about the movie that I just wanted to put out there. Tennille Townes, I actually saw her and she was in concert. She was an opening act.
Really?
Yes. So I did see her on I've forgotten the country singer's name now, but she was the opening act. That's when she was just becoming famous. And so, yeah, so she's very good. So that was interesting to see her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how many people would actually take on the challenge of trying to help someone find, like, to talk, contact them? They didn't even know, like, they did not have enough information to
Yeah.
get this to make this happen, but they didn't give up. And I was impressed that they were taking that on. Like, I mean, I get texts all the time. I go, oh, spam, click, delete.
Yeah. I think most people would just be like, that message is not for me, just gonna ignore it. Instead, they actually went through all the hoops of trying to listen to background noises and all the rest of it. It was really impressive. Um, it was heartbreaking, this idea of the long lost love and everything, but it was a very sweet ending. Especially when you have clarity and reconciliation, which is what I think the couples found at the end.
Right. And I think that worked for both scenarios.
Yeah.
It would be heartbreaking to have an accident with one of your best friends and they pass away and then you live through it. But then one thing I thought they showed really well was how the lives of those that are left behind got turned upside down. And again,
Yeah.
of course, there's a misunderstanding, but three best friends and then they just didn't talk after that.
Yeah, totally. I love the snow globes. I thought that was a very cool idea how they use that to solve the mystery and bring everyone together with that bit of music, like, drilling down into that. That was really cool, really smart way to kind of seed a clue into the movie.
Exactly. And I loved how they used that Christmas magic by each person got the other person's phone message. So they each
Yeah.
knew, like his, I guess, wife or whatever, knew that he was reaching out for her. So it wasn't like he was being rude to her or anything, but she knew that he was on a mission for the other person to
Yeah, I
to,
mean, it
to
made
talk to
sense
her.
after because it's just like we
Mm.
had these two numbers and he just mixed them up of who he
Yeah,
was leaving a message for, which is something anyone could easily do. But how important it was in this situation is not like a normal situation. Like this had
exactly.
huge consequences.
And they did an excellent job of talking about how he did go and get mental health help
Yeah,
after what had
exactly.
happened in that incident. So that was very good too. I was really happy to see that.
It did deal with both of their trauma from the
Mm-hmm.
same situation. We find out later
Situation.
they were in the same accident, one on the receiving and one on the giving end. Yeah, so very well done. And yes, that singer, her name was, what was her name? Tenille Towns. She was really good. And I liked her version of this song that they use when they do these movies. They have the same song. And I really liked her version of the song.
Yeah, it was very good. Okay, movie number 3, A Fabled Holiday, starring Brooke Dorsey as Talia and Ryan Pavey as Anderson. Talia finds herself in the magical town of Wonderbrook at Christmas, and reunites with Anderson, her childhood friend. They and the other visitors staying at the Gingerbread Inn find healing in the Christmas spirit of the town. Okay, let's find out how this movie rates in our SOFA rating system. This movie earned a whopping 19 out of 20 sofas, which I'm glad to see because I loved it. The categories are town holiday celebrations, location, family and friends, unexpected hiccups, affairs of the heart, big life changes, and Christmas magic.
Imposter syndrome. They talk about it a lot, and we all kind of suffer from it one time or the other. But it just seems like writers seem to have, we seem to suffer about it, or at least complain about it a lot. But it's certainly not limited to writers. In any profession, you can lose your confidence when something goes awry. It's that old adage of try, fail, then try again. And in this movie, she was a writer, loses her confidence, not able to get that publication deal. And then on his side, obviously having the issue of being a surgeon and losing patients. And
Oh,
I can't imagine what that would do to you, but certainly the feeling that maybe both of them in their own way feeling that maybe their jobs weren't the right place for them at that moment in time.
I'd have to say this is one of my top 5 movies of the year. It is all about Christmas magic and loving one another. And I love that they all work together to help each other. And the way that they did the sound
Yeah.
really reminded me of that God wink, kind of how
Yeah,
it had
that's
that
right. The
sounding.
Godwink movies. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You're right. I love Wonderbrook the Town. It reminds me of Evergreen, which we love the Evergreen
Mm-hmm.
movies. I love the whole idea how magical it is, and it's magical to help people. It's not just magic is just around, it's magic with a purpose. And I think that was a really smart movie. And I absolutely love this movie too. I definitely kept it on my PVR.
I think that they could make a part 2 of this since she wrote that new novel about it to have the adventure continue. I think it could become that new kind of evergreen idea. I mean, I don't get how, it's supposed to be somewhere you drive into. It's kind of like the Garden of Eden. It's not there. You can't see it unless,
Yeah.
unless you're being called to it. But I think there's a lot they could do with that storyline. And I think there was more we could do with the people of the town
Yes, for
that
sure.
live there.
I love the widower that decided to stay and then became the gallant knight in the book sequel. It had
Yeah.
a very satisfying ending, this movie, but I agree with you. I would be happy to see a sequel. Just like there was a sequel to the book, I'd be very happy to see a sequel to the movie with a new group of people and the widower now a part of that storyline and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, because we don't get to see what the gallant knight does, right?
True.
The widower melts the heart of the witch person, right, in the
Yep.
storyline. So, I mean, who knows what he's going to do now? So that would be cool to see another episode of that. This movie, I cried a lot. Very happy tears, but I
Yeah.
cried a lot. I loved
I,
how she like knew and I know it's I know it is, and they were like, no, no. She started to feel like she was going crazy, but eventually it
yeah.
came out.
It's also the magic of a good children's book that touches you right from when you're young and stays with you
Yeah.
your whole life.
And that was the best part because she knew that they all had read that book. So it was very cool.
Mhm. Movie number 4, Long Lost Christmas, starring Taylor Cole as Haley and Benjamin Ayres as Jake. Haley, interior designer and internet star, takes a chance and heads off to Silver Valley, Colorado to locate a special Christmas present for her mother, her estranged brother, Gordon. Okay, so this movie rated on our sofa rating system 13 out of 20 sofas. And the categories are military might, town holiday celebrations, location, 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 family and friends, and the charitable event. Well, there was quite a few. Christmas house design showcase for charity, the annual Silver Valley Christmas fundraiser for Braithwaite, and the bookstore program to read to children who don't have a traditional home.
So technically, they get 5 points for the charitable event, but if you added them all up, they would have got 15 just for how
Yeah.
much charity was in this particular movie.
It's good to see there's been a couple movies now, I think, that have these multiple charities. Certainly this movie
Was
hit
all
it out
about
of the
that.
park. Yeah.
I agree. I love that it shows that families come in different forms and a lost family member is a scary road to travel with the unknown. I don't even know how you would go to find that person. But
Mhm.
her mom was the sweetest person. Now, again, this was a movie about foster kids and their troubles and giving back. This definitely also made my top 5 movies of the season, especially since, I mean, as a previous foster parent, I understand a lot about these kids and being separated and, as they call it, aging out. And
Mhm.
I'm sure he really did think that he was trying to do what was best for his little sister.
I think they handled that storyline really well, and you got to see it from those other angles. Because being estranged from family or just even apart from your family is difficult. And it feels even more so at special occasions, particularly like the holidays. So I really like how this movie looked at that issue, both from the daughter's point of view and the mother's point of view.
Right. No, I agree. The daughter finding love on her travels made the story even more interesting. But, she her uncle's like she kept trying to ask questions as a reporter you do ask questions, but he was very, very closed. And I think that was making it worse and worse and worse for her, because then she go, oh yeah, it must be him, and then no, it's definitely not him. But I can also understand from his past how he kept that a secret, like, or at least private
Yeah,
information.
for sure.
But like he brings up that other gentleman who she ended up falling in love with and taking him under his wing. So I really, really liked this movie a lot.
Me too. I think, though, it would have solved some confusion if she just asked him from the beginning if he was her mother's brother. She had the picture she could have used for reference. He would have recognized it. Though I totally understand not wanting to get her mother's hopes up for sure, or embroiled in any sort of controversy with family. This was supposed to be something special, a gift. So I get if, she didn't want to stir up any trouble. She was trying to surreptitiously figure this out.
And the town that he was in was really, really nice. Oh, and those log cabins. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
They were something. Yeah.
They could do a movie just about someone staying in those log cabins because they were really cool for sure.
They were really nice.
I think my favorite part, though, of this movie, and I really did enjoy it, was the fact that both of the siblings that were estranged wrote Christmas cards to each other, even though they weren't in each other's lives and, the other person didn't know it. They had both been doing that and saving them so they could share it with each other. I thought that was just such a sweet ending to the movie.
100%. Okay, on to movie number 5, Undercover Holiday. Naomi Gonzalez as Jalen and Steven Hazar as Matt. New pop star Jalen heads home for Christmas and tries to hide from her protective family that she has a security guard in tow, so they pretend he's her boyfriend. Okay, let's find out how this movie rates on our sofa rating system. This movie earned 17 out of 20 sofas, which I'm actually shocked. The categories are military might, town holiday celebrations, location, 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 family and friends, fairs of the heart, big life changes, and the charitable event, the living nativity scene for the neighborhood.
I think this movie proves that you can have lots of Hallmark tropes happening here, all the tropes that we love, and not a very cohesive story. So definitely not my favorite movie of the season. I do enjoy movies where the family is close and participating in those holiday traditions like the living nativity scene. I love it when I get to learn about these new holiday traditions, and I do think they did a good job of showing different cultural holiday traditions. However, I still had some serious issues with this movie.
I agree. This was not my favorite either. I personally couldn't see them together as a couple. And I'm sorry, we are always very, very kind, but her singing was not what I expected to hear.
No,
So
I think
that
that
didn't do it for me.
No, the level at which you would be having just one a show over however many people who would have also, been vying for the trophy or to win, like this is a recording contract. I feel like you have to have a very special voice, and that's at least what we've seen in watching those shows, which we do. I don't think it was there. I think this is where maybe some bad casting, maybe not the best casting was done for this
Her friend
particular
seemed like a
movie.
good singer. The one
She
she beat out, but
yes, yeah. So the singing was disappointing. Let's put it that way. It was disappointing. So her grandmother was sweet and loving. I loved her abuela. I liked the tender moments they spent together. That part I enjoyed.
I agree. Her family was wonderful. And I can understand why he was intrigued by it with not having a family. But typically a Marine would not have crossed the line, not during the duty hours. So that part was a little hard to and I just didn't see them together as a couple. Like
Yeah.
I
Well, I
didn't
think they
see
were
the
forcing.
chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole movie was a bit forced. Her whole speech after the concert of, it's all about her was really thoughtless and a little selfish. Like her family loves her so much, she wants her to be safe is not something I would think you'd totally freak out of your family for.
Exactly.
You want to be a strong, independent person? Great, do it. You don't have to run over others on the way. She really could have been honest from the start. I don't think it would have been that big a deal with her family. I don't think they would have been so mad. I think they would have been happy that, Matt was there,
Keeping her
taking
safe, the
care of
people
her.
they love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really think the whole hiding the notes was, I mean, he was their security guard. Like she didn't ask who the notes were from after. So you hid notes from me, but that didn't say, where are the notes? Who are they from? What do they say? She just lost it like a stubborn kid. And a little bit, I'm glad that she at least they showed her apologizing for her outburst and make it right with Matt. And I was very happy because it was something, this whole idea of family for him was not something that he'd had before. So I was very happy to see him part of a family. That part I really did enjoy, that his connecting with them.
Okay, so this week our drink was pomegranate Cosmo, which was so pretty in the cups.
It really was.
It
I
was.
like the pomegranate, not a really strong taste. It was mostly the cranberry, I think, really was the winner in that drink. But it looked beautiful.
But
It
the
was pretty
look
easy to
was
make.
nice.
Yeah, it was pretty easy
Yeah.
to make. It was a good choice.
This episode was brought to you by Hamish Community Services, opening doors by taking the dis out of disabilities. You can find out more information at hamish.ca.
Well, fellow Crownheads, we've come to the end of today's chat.
You can find all our episodes on your favorite podcast network.
And on our website, sistersipandchat.ca. Subscribe and never miss a chat session.
Thanks for listening. Join us next time.
And we'll save you a seat on the sofa.